Hello everybody, Mark at 100% Pure Elvis. Thank you all for taking the time out to return to my channel today. It is most appreciated. And if you are new to the 100% Pure Elvis channel, welcome aboard and I hope you enjoy this upload. On my community page yesterday, I said I would be doing an upload over the weekend, and I was reached out by one of my subscribers called Tony, and he asked me what would be a great starting point for any new Elvis fan, and what albums would I tell them to start their collection with. And a great question, Tony. You know, Elvis Presley's body of work from 1956 all the way up to 1977, he released so much during such a short span of time. So the 21 years from 56 to 77, you had the studio albums, you had the soundtrack albums, you had the gospel albums, you had the live albums, etc. And again, for me, there is a great body of work. Any new collector of Elvis, they have absolutely so much body of work that they can start collecting. And again, I must admit, I did find this really difficult to decide if I was new collecting Elvis Presley music, what would be my go-tos. So Tony asked me to do a top 10, and obviously I have limited it to 10 records that I'm going to share with you now. Now, two of them, which you will see when I share with you, were not issued during Elvis Presley's lifetime. So two of the albums that I'm going to share with you were not issued during Elvis Presley's lifetime, but the rest were. And for me, I will share with you the reasons why I believe these are a great starting point for all new Elvis fans. Let's make a start. Obviously, you've got to go to the beginning of Elvis Presley's career, Elvis Presley's debut album. And it's an iconic front cover sleeve here, isn't it? With the pink and green Elvis Presley. Now, obviously, this is a reissue. You know, to get the original copy from 1956, it would cost a lot of money. So this is a reissue. It's actually quite new to my collection. I've had it a fair few months, but a newer one to my collection. Now, why do I say this should be in any Elvis Presley collector's collection, even new collectors of Elvis music? It's because it's the starting point. The rock and roll era, Elvis, the rock and roll artist, exploding onto the music scene. And you're looking at the iconic track listing on his debut album. You had Blue Suede Shoes, I'm Counting on You, I Got a Woman, One-Sided Love Affair, I Love You Because, Just Because, Tutti Frutti, Trying to Get to You, I'm Going to Sit Right Down and Cry Over You, I'll Never Let You Go, Little Darling, Blue Moon and Then Money Honey. Not one bad song from this debut album, and it has sold in excess of millions and millions of copies worldwide. As I was saying, an iconic front cover image of Elvis Presley's debut album. And again, for me, you know, it was a masterstroke leaving Sun Records. So Sun Records was Elvis Presley's first record label, as you all know. And Colonel Tom Parker got him signed to RCA, and the rest is history. And but again, this comes in its original white sleeving, and it's like on the black and silver RCA labels. Again, obviously this is a reissue, but when you're talking about Elvis Presley's debut album, you know, any new collector, absolutely, this has to be your starting point. you need to start with the debut album, Elvis Presley, from 1956. Again, even if you are collecting CDs or vinyl, always get this into your collection. A great debut album from the King of Rock and Roll. Now, next, again, it's not a studio album. It is the first in the Golden Record releases. So this is volume 1 of Elvis's Golden Records. And again, I personally believe this is a must-have in any Elvis Presley collector's collection. Even, well, obviously a new collector as well. And again, I just think the front cover here is iconic as well. On the back, again, 4 images of Elvis there from the 50s. Inside, I just love that image of Elvis there. And more great images. Now, many of my subscribers will be aware that I've shared these vinyls or records before, but newer subscribers to my channel will not be aware. So obviously the reason I have chosen Elvis's Golden Records Volume 1 is because, again, I truly believe it is the track listing is second to none. So we've got Hound Dog, I Love You Because, All Shook Up, Heartbreak Hotel, You're a Heartbreaker, Love Me Too Much, Don't Be Cruel, That's When Your Heartaches Begin, I'll Never Let You Go, Love Me Tender, I Forgot to Remember to Forget, Any Way You Want Me, That's How I Will Be, I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. And what I also love about Elvis's Golden Records, this is on the Red Seal label. So let me share with you the vinyl inside. So it comes in its original white sleeving here. Now, it's gorgeous. I love these Red Seal RCA releases. So again, when you are collecting Elvis Presley, especially newer people collecting Elvis, you have, I said at the beginning of this upload, you have a great body of work and you can pick up so many different issues of his albums. And for me, I try and collect as many different imports as possible of the same record. You don't need to do that because, again, that starts costing money. If you are a new collector of Elvis, just start with maybe some reissues of these albums, and then as time goes on, maybe start collecting the older or the first pressings of these records. Some of them will be quite expensive, so again, newer collectors, just start purchasing the reissues. I mean, some of my subscribers might say you cannot do any better than the original releases. Totally agree. The sound quality on the originals is, I just love it, because the reissues are all remastered. And when you purchase a remastered album, it sounds, in my opinion, it sounds like you're still listening to a CD. I love the authentic sound of a record, especially the original one. But there is no harm if you are a new collector of Elvis Presley music, start with the reissues. And again, absolutely, this is a must-have. The first in the Golden Records releases. Elvis's Golden Records, Volume 1 on the Red Seal label. Now, I was in two minds as to whether I should put this in the collection of body of work that I feel new Elvis Presley collectors should own. And I decided that I was going to, because again, I love the album, and it was the first album Elvis, well, one of the first albums Elvis released while he was, I think, I think while he was in the army. Can someone please correct me on that? And the album is A Date with Elvis. So I think Elvis recorded most of these tracks while he was in the army. Again, I'm not overly too sure if I'm giving correct information there, because I really, believe it or not, don't know too much information about the A Date with Elvis album. This is an album, again, that I tend to not play a great deal, but when I do play the album, I absolutely love listening to it. So again, you got an image of Elvis here when he was in the army, and 3 more images of Elvis at the bottom here from the 1950s. Again, this is a reissue of A Date with Elvis. And on the back, more information of A Date with Elvis. And again, why have I chosen this body of work? Again, I think it's because of the track listing and because of it's an important release in Elvis Presley's career. So we've got Blue Moon of Kentucky, Young and Beautiful, Baby I Don't Care, Milk Car Blues Boogie, Baby Let's Play House, Good Rockin' Tonight, Is It So Strange, We're Gonna Move, I Want to Be Free, I Forgot to Remember to Forget. Obviously, after reading them track listings there, obviously they are not songs he recorded while he was in the army. So again, please forgive me on that. But again, I'll just look the track listing on A Date with Elvis. I think it's an album that should be added to any new Elvis collector. Inside, as I was saying, this is a reissue. It's on the RCA International label. And again, there you go. It's a green RCA. And again, if you are new collecting Elvis Presley, you know, there is so many different labels as well. Also, like via RCA. As I was saying, you've got the Red Seal label, you've got the green RCA International, you've got white RCA label, you've got the orange label, black and silver, etc., blue. Collecting Elvis, you'll never, ever tire of coming across Elvis Presley records that you do own. When I go to a record fair or a charity shop or any record store that sells vinyl or CDs, if I find anything on Elvis that I've not seen before or purchased before, oh, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love looking at Elvis, even though I've got such a vast collection. Being a collector of Elvis, you will never tire of seeing new and older items that you do not own. So I had to put this in my top 10, A Date with Elvis. Now again, I just want to reiterate, this would not go in my top 10 favorite Elvis albums. This here is all about the top 10 Elvis Presley albums that I think all new collectors of Elvis should own. So again, I just wanted to reiterate that, but a great album all the same. A Date with Elvis. Now, before I share with you the next record in the collection, in this top 10, I have not included any soundtrack album. And is there a reason for that? Yes. What I will be doing a must-have Elvis Presley soundtrack upload as well, because again, I have been asked to do that as well. And I wanted to do that on a different upload in respect of, I believe these are the must-have Elvis Presley albums that you must own in your collection, and all new collectors of Elvis should have in their collection. And soundtrack albums I'm going to be doing differently on another upload, probably over the weekend. The next one, I would say everyone's going to agree with this, because again, everyone might have differences of opinions on the records that I am sharing. And again, if you do disagree with me, please leave in the comments below. I would love to hear your reasons why you disagree with my selection, or if you agree with my selection. Again, I know everyone's got a different, I know everyone has their own opinion, and I love hearing everyone else's opinions, and share with me what I've missed in the top 10 and what you would have added in that top 10. But please bear in mind, this is all about new collectors of Elvis, what you believe they should own in their collection as a starting point. Now, the next one is From Elvis in Memphis. Again, what an album this is. This is an import. And again, I've said this on each of the records that I've shared with you so far. What an iconic front sleeve image there of Elvis from the 1968 special. And again, on the back, very different from the original release of From Elvis in Memphis. And again, why have I chosen this? The track listing. I absolutely love the track listing on From Elvis in Memphis. Back at his best, back in Memphis, doing what he did best, coming out of the movies, recording songs that absolutely showcased what a powerful voice he had. And it's just absolutely amazing. I absolutely never tire of listening to this album. Let's talk about that track listing. Wearing that Love Done look. Only the Strong Survive. I'll Hold You in My Heart. Long Black Limousine. It keeps right on a hurting. I'm Moving On. Power of My Love. Gentle on My Mind. After Loving You. True Love Travels on a Gravel Road. Any Day Now in the Ghetto. Now, you can't not say there's any weak song on there either. Every single song, absolutely superb. You've got different styles of singing there, haven't you? And again, he showcases what a great musician he was. Absolutely. This album come at the right time for Elvis. Again, put him back at the top of the charts on both sides of the Atlantic. And again, this is an album you must own in your collection. You know, if I was talking to new collectors of Elvis, I would and Elvis Presley's body of work, you know, you can't shy away from this. This is an album that you know, they've just got to pick it up. And again, absolutely an album that belongs in that top 10 From Elvis in Memphis. Let me share with you the vinyl inside, and it's white sleeving again. And as I said, this is an import, and with the orange RCA Victor label. And again, for me, I can't remember too much about when I purchased this. I think it was probably about 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I'm not overly too sure, but do you know when you find different variations of records? I mean, I've got the original of this as well, and but I actually prefer the import version. I prefer the back cover and everything. From Elvis in Memphis, a must-have for any new collector of Elvis. Next, we're going back to the Memphis ones again. And this is Back in Memphis. This is a recent edition, a re-release on red vinyl, on the Music on Vinyl label there. I hope you don't mind. I will showcase it in a moment, because there's some new subscribers on here that might not have seen this before. Back in Memphis, as I said about the previous album From Elvis in Memphis, Back in Memphis, again, it says what it says on the front cover. He was back in Memphis, recording great songs. And again, the track listing is second to none. The way Elvis looked, the way he sounded, the choice of song, absolutely. It's an album that, again, when you think about Elvis's body of work, when you are an avid collector of Elvis, this is an album. Again, you would always put it in your top 5 best Elvis albums. And but what disappoints me with some people that listen to Elvis, they will listen to tracks on this album and they'll say, "Oh, I've never heard that before. I've never heard Elvis sing that before." And it's because it's the sort of body of work that people who appreciate Elvis's music, they will only really hear the greatest hits, won't they? And that's what I try and say to some of my friends who appreciate Elvis's music. I always try and say, listen deeper into his body of work. Listen to an album that you might not have listened to or heard of before, and you will be so surprised at how great this man actually was. So again, Back in Memphis is just a must-have album. Again, this is released last year. It's in its cellophane. Let me get that out for you. Absolutely stunning, glossy cover from Music on Vinyl. And it's on gorgeous red vinyl. Look at this. There you go. I've shared this before, but new subscribers to my channel, hope you enjoy this. This is readily available on Amazon, Discogs. You could try eBay. It's on the red RCA label via Music on Vinyl. Do you know what? You know, it's an album that you listen to it, and every single time, you know, gets me in a place where I just think to myself, and that is why Elvis means so much to me. His music absolutely inspires me, calms me down. It just puts me in a better place. Back in Memphis. The next one, again, is on the Music on Vinyl label. It's a reissue, and it's from 1970, On Stage. Now, again, people might disagree with me on this, but again, I think it's such an important album in Elvis Presley's career. And again, new collectors of Elvis, again, when they hear this album, they'll be so, you know, I think Elvis's live performances here is just, his voice is just perfection. And the choice of songs on this album is perfection. And again, just, he owned the stage at this stage, didn't he? And again, I just love the front and back cover on this, On Stage. And for a long time, this was possibly one of my favorite albums from Elvis, and it has changed, but it's an album that I could listen to over and over again. And again, you've got CC Rider, Release Me and Let Me Love Again, Sweet Caroline, Runaway, The Wonder of You, Polk, Salad Annie, Yesterday, Proud Mary, Walk a Mile in My Shoes, Let It Be Me. And again, what a great body of songs there. You got some cover versions, haven't you? And it was all recorded live at the International Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada. And again, a top 10 album on both sides of the Atlantic for Elvis. Let me share with you what's inside. On Stage, for me, it's an album that, again, when you listen to it, I mean, my brother absolutely, you know, this album, when he hears it, he absolutely loves The Wonder of You and Let It Be Me. He absolutely says to me, oh God, his voice, his tone, his delivery of the songs is perfection. And that's what Elvis was. He delivered the songs his way. And I believe there was no better person doing it. Again, you know, there you go. It's on the orange label, RCA. There you go. And for me, when you're talking about On Stage, you've got Sweet Caroline, which, as you all know, is a Neil Diamond song. And whenever you hear Sweet Caroline, you automatically think of the Neil Diamond song. But I think Elvis gave such a great rendition of that song, did a great version. And I might be controversial here. I absolutely do prefer Elvis's version on this On Stage. This came with a free poster. So again, the original release did not come with a free poster. This has come with a poster. And again, go to Discogs, eBay. You could try Amazon. And this is the music on vinyl release of On Stage. Now, before I get it back in its cellophane, here, February 1970 there. On the original release, it just said On Stage. It didn't say February 1970. It simply said On Stage. But again, a must-have Elvis album for any new Elvis collectors. And for me, to all of my subscribers who know by now how I keep my vinyl, but some of my new subscribers, if you've not seen my channel before, all of my vinyl, or I know some people get frustrated, they'd rather them be called records. I'm just so used to calling them vinyls. So again, vinyls, records, whatever you prefer. I keep every single one of mine in their own PVC protective sleeving. So this one here has its shrink wrap that it came in, and then I have a separate PVC sleeve on the outside. It just protects the cover, protects everything inside as well. And before and after I play all records, I always give them a clean down. February 1970, On Stage, a great album to add to your Elvis collection if you're a new collector. Now, the next one, subscribers who have supported me from the very beginning of my channel, 100% Pure Elvis, will know what my favorite Elvis Presley album is. And again, I will never, ever change my mind on that. This album means so much to me. It holds a lot of memories for me, good and bad. And it's an album that I just truly believe is Elvis Presley's best body of work. And we all have differences of opinions. I said that earlier in this upload, and but I've had some of my subscribers say to me, Mark, I am in total agreement with you on that. Whenever you research Elvis fans' favorite Elvis Presley albums, sorry, I'm just going to get a drink of water quickly. This always comes out on top or nearer the top. And the body of work I'm talking about that's the way it is. Along with this being my favourite Elvis Presley album, it is also my favourite Elvis Presley front cover image on any Elvis Presley album. That is so iconic. The white jumpsuit back on stage. I just love the way he looks there. Again, this is the music on vinyl copy. This is rare. This is a 4LP edition of That's the Way It Is. So again, this is what I mean about being an Elvis fan. You know, I've got the original release of That's the Way It Is. I've got other reissues. I've got a box set of That's the Way It Is. So again, if you are starting out collecting Elvis, you don't have to purchase this copy. You know, just pick up a reissue. Sometimes the original copy comes along at a decent price as well. But new subscribers to my channel might be thinking, why is this your favorite Elvis Presley album? For me, it's really difficult to answer, really. I'm going to sound quite boring and quite repetitive. I think it's because of the track listing, the song choices, how he came across, the live concert songs that I did on here. I just love everything about it. And on the back here, look at this. You know, I have showcased this 4LP edition so many times on my channel. It just goes to show I never tire of sharing this with my subscribers and to new subscribers. So as you can see, it's on the music on vinyl copy. It's a limited edition copy. Now this is an album that would be quite expensive to get a hold of. You might be looking at over £200. And again, let's talk about the tracks that are on That's the Way It Is. I'm only going to talk through the tracks that were on the original album, if you don't mind, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about Elvis Presley albums that I truly believe all new Elvis Presley collectors should own. So on That's the Way It Is, we had I Just Can't Help Believing, 20 Days and 20 Nights, How the Web Was Woven, Patch It Up, Mary in the Morning, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, You've Lost That Loving Feeling, I've Lost You, Just Pretend, Stranger in the Crowd, The Next Step Is Love, Bridge Over Troubled Water. Now, I'm going to talk slightly longer about this. Absolutely, I love Elvis Presley's amazing version of Bridge Over Troubled Water. I think it's really emotional, his version. It's just the way he delivers that song, for me, is perfection. And the single, I Just Can't Help Believing, I mean, I'd never tire of listening to it. The Next Step Is Love, Mary in the Morning, 20 Days and 20 Nights. Again, it's an album that does not have a weak song on there. It's an album where you can just listen to each song over and over again. Now, again, you know, new subscribers to my channel might not know this, but I'm very honest in what I say. You know, I love all of Elvis Presley's body of work. And what I mean by that is there is some albums that I think are quite weak, and for me, they don't hold up that high in my body of work of why did Elvis record such a song, or why was that album released? But I must admit, most of them are soundtrack albums, and we'll come across that on another upload. And that means I'm not dissing Elvis, because I would never do that, because Elvis was contractually obliged to do the soundtracks. I just think, for me, Elvis Presley's body of work, you have to look at the studio albums and the live albums, and obviously gospel as well. But again, as I was saying at the beginning of this upload, it's a very difficult choice for me to pick my top 10 must-own Elvis Presley albums for a new collector. But obviously this had to go in it, because to me, this is one. Well, I actually think this is a pinnacle of Elvis Presley's album releases. I just love That's the Way It Is. So again, That's the Way It Is. I must have for any new Elvis collector. We've got 3 left. The next one is the last one that was issued during Elvis Presley's lifetime, and it is his last studio album, Moody Blue. Why have I chosen this? I just think it's a superb last studio recorded album. Most of it was recorded at Graceland in the Jungle Room. Some of it was live on stage. But what a great final album from Elvis. I just think it is superb. And I love the front cover. So iconic, with Elvis there from 1972 on the front with that shining light above him. I love the Elvis font here, Moody Blue. I love the title song from the album, Moody Blue. On the back, another great image of Elvis. Again, is that from 1972 as well, I believe. And again, this comes on blue vinyl. I mean, this is a reissue, obviously. So if you were fortunate enough to purchase the first pressing on blue vinyl, well done. That's now quite rare. But obviously, this has been issued on black vinyl, blue vinyl. I also own the clear vinyl on the Follow That Dream label, which is really rare. But I just wanted to share with you this copy. And Moody Blue, so it included Unchained Melody, If You Love Me, Let Me Know, Little Darling, He'll Have to Go, Let Me Be There, Way Down, Pledging My Love, Moody Blue, She Thinks I Still Care, It's Easy for You. When you're talking about the tracks on Moody Blue, Unchained Melody, when you're hearing Elvis sing that from 1977, again, it's raw emotion, isn't it? And it gets you emotional as well. I'm in awe of the man. I love Let Me Be There. It's Easy for You. As I said, Moody Blue. Way Down was Elvis Presley's last single that was released during his lifetime, and it shot to #1 in the United Kingdom. And, you know, Little Darling, you know, he's having fun through that song, isn't he? I just think it's such a superb album. It's an album that, again, you have to own it as an Elvis collector. And new collectors of Elvis, it's an album that, is it an overlooked album? No. But because it was so late in his career, some new collectors of Elvis might overlook this album in respect of they want the ones that were more popular during his lifetime. But Moody Blue, in my opinion, is a must-have Elvis album. Inside, this is the sleeve showcasing other Elvis releases. As I was saying, this is a reissue, and here you go. Let me get that. This is on blue vinyl, on the black and silver RCA Victor label. Now, this is still readily available. Again, on the blue vinyl, you know, and I'm not sure. Again, I know most of my subscribers will help me with this. Is the black vinyl more rarer than the blue? I do own a black copy of Moody Blue. Is it rarer than the blue released copy? Please share that with me. But Moody Blue, a great final album from Elvis Presley, and must have in your collection. Now, the final two are albums that were issued after Elvis Presley sat passing in 1977. Now, the next one, earlier on in this upload, I shared with you the Elvis Golden Records Volume 1. And this one is my favourite in the collection, and it is Volume 5. Now, for me, why is this a must-have? Again, it is because the song choices that were put on this Gold Record Volume 5 release. I think the choice of songs is second to none, and I absolutely love the image of Elvis there on the front from the '68 special. Again, this is the reissue that was issued I think it was issued way back in 2014, so 10 years ago. Again, I love the design. I just love everything about this design. A great image of Elvis here on the back. Again, is that from 72, I would say? Again, please correct me if I am wrong. From 68 on the front. And again, let me share with you the track listing on Volume 5. Suspicious Minds, Kentucky Rain, In the Ghetto, Clean Up Your Own Backyard, If I Can Dream, Burning Love, If You Talk in Your Sleep, For the Heart, Moody Blue, Way Down. Why is this my favourite? It's a very close run thing with Volume 4. It's just the song choices. Clean Up Your Own Backyard, I absolutely adore. Kentucky Rain, If You Talk in Your Sleep. Again, when you are talking about people who listen to Elvis who but don't know all of his body of work, if you talk in your sleep, you'll play that. And again, they won't know, I've not heard that before, but what a great song. For the Heart, I mean, obviously Moody Blue and Way Down. It's just such a superb collection of songs here on Volume 5. As I've said, this is the reissue. This cost me, I think it was $59.99, I believe. It's on orange vinyl. So again, there you go, in a see-through sleeve. Let me get that out. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Look, it's gorgeous. And again, without wanting to constantly sound repetitive in this upload, but again, you don't have to purchase these more expensive reissues. I mean, avid collectors like myself, absolutely want to purchase and get them into my collection. But again, the first issue of this is actually quite rare to get a hold of as well. So if you are fortunate enough to come across this while out looking for Elvis vinyl, well done. But again, Elvis's Gold Records Volume 5 for me is my favourite in the series of gold record releases, and it is a must-have in your collection, either as a new Elvis collector or even if you've been collecting Elvis longer. And again, let me showcase with you what's inside here. And so on the left there, you've got Burning Love, It's a Matter of Time. And on the right, She Thinks I Still Care, Moody Blue. Gold Records Volume 5. Now, the last one. Again, many of my subscribers will be well aware how much this record means to me. My new subscribers will not know the reason. Now, the reason I've chosen this album is because it was the very first Elvis Presley record that I purchased out of my own money. And I always collected Elvis on CD at first, which was way back in the late 1980s. I'd collect him on CD, VHS. I've never collected tapes, books, magazines, etc. But I first owned this on CD, on double CD. And when I first started purchasing Elvis on record, it would have been probably, you're looking maybe 2005, I'm guessing. This was the first Elvis Presley album that I actually purchased on a record. Presley, the all-time greatest hits. So it just means so much to me. You know, obviously, I purchased the CD first when it was issued in, I think it was 19, hold on, when was it first issued? Let's have a look. I think, yeah, it was first issued in 1987. So I purchased the CD in 1987 when it was issued. Why didn't I collect Elvis on record at that stage? You're probably asking. Believe it or not, in them days, you know, I did have a record player, but I always preferred CD because CD was the new form of entertainment, listening to music in a better sound in them days. And obviously I was younger, and for me, CDs were the go-to. But now, if you asked me, what do I prefer? Record all day long. But again, I still buy CDs, but I prefer listening to records. But Presley, the all-time greatest hits. What a superb issue from RCA in 1987. Sorry, in 1987. Did really well in the United Kingdom. And again, what a great choice of image of Elvis from the 50s on the front. And again, when you are talking about Elvis, so, you know, when you're talking about artists of today, there's not many artists who are known just by their first name. But Elvis, you know, you said Elvis and everyone knew who you were talking about. But look, this was, they didn't even use Elvis here. That's all they needed, Presley. What a masterstroke, I believe. Again, I love everything about this. Inside, the gatefold, a collection of Elvis Presley memorabilia, record releases, etc. from his career. What a great touch. Also, I don't know if you can see it that well, but on the back, it shared with you the release date of each single and where each single reached in the UK charts and the United States chart. What a great touch. And I love gathering as much information on Elvis Presley as possible, and chart positions is one of them that I absolutely love looking at. Now, I have shared you all this before, but this is for newer subscribers. Again, please go out and try and look for this. It's not readily available, but you can always find it on eBay, Amazon. You can still try Amazon. You might be able to get it on CD still, but please get this added to your collection. So we've got record one. I'm going to share side one and side two together. So we've got Heartbreak Hotel, Blue Suede Shoes, Hound Dog, Love Me Tender, Too Much, All Shook Up, Teddy Bear, Paralyzed, Party, Jailhouse Rock, Don't, Wear My Ring Around Your Neck, Hard-Headed Woman, King Creole, One Night, A Fool Such As I, A Big Hunk of Love, Stuck on You, The Girl of My Best Friend, It's Now or Never, Are You Lonesome Tonight, Wooden Heart, Surrender, Marie's the Name, His Latest Flame, Can't Help Falling in Love, Good Luck Charm. Record 2, She's Not You, Return to Sender, You're the Devil in Disguise, Crying in the Chapel, Love Letters, If I Can Dream, In the Ghetto, Suspicious Minds, Don't Cry Daddy, The Wind Review, I Just Can't Help Believing, An American Trilogy, Burning Love, Always on My Mind, My Boy, Suspicion, Moody Blue, Way Down, It's Only Love. Now, in my humble opinion, this has to be one of the best greatest hits album RCA have ever released with Elvis Presley music. And again, I'm going to go as far as to say it's personally my favorite greatest hits album. Obviously, you got the 50 greatest hits, you got Elvis 30 number ones, but this is my favorite. The sleeves, and then it came on the black and silver RCA label. I won't share with you the second one because they're both exactly the same, the black and silver RCA label. And again, I remember when I purchased this first time around on CD, played it to death because, again, before I close off Presley all-time greatest hits, again, before I think obviously growing up in a household full of Elvis music, and I always wanted to start collecting Elvis at a young age. And obviously, when I was at school, I really couldn't do anything like that. Even though I had a paper round, I couldn't afford to buy any Elvis items. My mum would buy me the odd Elvis book or magazine, etc. But when I left school and got myself into the workplace, I started earning my own wage, going out there and collecting Elvis. Presley, the all-time greatest hits. I played that greatest hits CD to death, and when I got it on vinyl as well, again, I just love it. So again, I hope you enjoyed that upload. And again, I'm sorry if I have not shared with you your favourite Elvis album in that top 10. It was a very difficult decision for me to make. You can see I've not included soundtrack albums. I've not included live albums. I've not included gospel albums. And again, there's no reasoning behind that. I said about the soundtrack albums earlier. Gospel albums, you've got to go for His Hand in Mine. If you do want to add that, if you want a gospel album in your collection, His Hand in Mine, I would put in there. And again, the live albums, you've got so many to choose from, haven't you? Obviously, the most famous one is Lower from Hawaii. And again, I love recorded live on stage in Memphis as well. But again, as I said, it's a very tough decision to choose, and I wanted to be honest with myself in, if I was a new collector of Elvis and I came across this body of work on these 10 albums, I would not be disappointed. They're very different, aren't they? From the 1956 debut album up to his final album, Moody Blue. You know, you've got an eclectic body of work there from the greatest entertainer that's ever walked the earth. Again, look, this upload has been going on for nearly an hour now, and I just wanted to say, look, thank you all so much for sticking by me on my 100% Pure Elvis channel. I've had a really difficult time of late, and knowing that I've got my subscribers behind me supporting my channel, commenting on my channel, it really means a lot to me, believe it or not. And again, you know, I love sharing my love of Elvis, and you know, it's when you are talking about Elvis as an entertainer, you know, you are talking about a man who had such a wide body of work throughout his career. And, you know, when someone asks you, could you do a top 10 of your favorite Elvis albums? You know, it's difficult. It's difficult because as an avid Elvis collector, as an avid Elvis listener, it could change all the time, couldn't it? I mean, you could ask me in a month's time, and some of them albums might not even be in my top 10. And what I mean by that is, you know, that's the way it is, would always be in there. But to me, I wanted to showcase my opinion of great Elvis body of works that I truly believe any Elvis collector should own, whether you are a new collector or a more avid collector but haven't got a big collection as yet. And again, I've also been asked, you know, why do you collect so much on a record? And again, very, very good question. I think when you are a collector of anything in particular, whether it's a musician like Elvis Presley, or it could be a collector of antiques, it could be a collector of watches, etc. You will all, when you see something that you collect that you've not got in your collection, you want to add it to your collection. Now, over the years since I've been collecting Elvis, I have turned my I've walked away from certain items that I regret not purchasing, because there has to come a time where you have to think to yourself, no, I can't afford it. No, I can't justify buying that. And that's the motto that I actually still stand by to this day. I only really purchase what I think I want to add to the collection. There's a lot of Elvis Presley new releases that come out, and I don't buy them. You know, I've also been asked by some of my subscribers, do I buy Elvis records just to share on my channel? Yes and no. I purchase Elvis records because I am an avid Elvis collector. But if I see an Elvis album like that secondhand or cheap, that I know my subscribers will enjoy, I will purchase it and I will showcase it. And that is because, again, I want to showcase as much of Elvis Presley's releases as much as possible. Now, look, that's enough of me going on. I always sign out by saying, please keep Elvis close to your heart. Please keep him playing his music. That means an awful lot to me. And look, thank you all for sticking by me. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. Again, any comments that any of you leave below, I will always respond to you as quickly as I possibly can. Lots of love, everybody. Speak soon. Bye-bye.